evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Good. My name's Andy Hardy. I'm the External Affairs Manager for OhioHealth. I'd like to start by thanking everybody for coming here tonight. We're looking to have some fun, this great panel sessions where we have some wonderful students here with us, and we'll get into that here in a second. We're going to go through and have everybody introduce themselves. But generally what we're looking to do here tonight is just have a great conversation about their journeys and how they got to where they are. We'll go through some questions, and with time left, we'll open it up to the floor so you guys can ask them questions as well. But we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'd like to start at the far end down here. If you could introduce yourself, tell them where you are in school and everything, and then we'll head down this way, okay?
So, hi everybody, my name is Izzy Curie. I'm currently a first-year medical student at Ohio University. I'm at the Dublin campus. I went to Jerome and I graduated in 2019. I did my undergrad at Ohio University Athens campus. And then here we go, is that better? Okay. So yeah, I went to Dublin Jerome, graduated in 2019. Did my undergrad through Ohio University Athens campus and through a combined program. It's a 4+4 program called the Early Assurance Program. I did 4 years of undergrad in Athens, and now I'm doing 4 years of medical school at Ohio University Dublin campus, the medical school. So.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Cameron Garnett-Nicholson. I'm a first year at OhioHealth Dublin campus. I am from Philadelphia. My journey to medicine is that I went to undergrad at Penn State University, where I played basketball and majored in biology and the sciences. And then I'm doing my 4 years at OhioHealth, and kind of doctor that I want to be. We're done is hopefully an aspiring pediatrician.
Hi everyone, my name is Tyson Roberts. I am a little bit of a untraditional student, I think, because I am married. I've been married for 5 years now. I have one kid and one on the way. So first and foremost, that's my responsibility to my family. Soon to be a second-year PA student. I'm originally from Manti, Utah, so a little far from home for me here. But yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Hi everyone, I'm Samantha McDonald. I'm a second-year physician assistant student here at Ohio University in Dublin. I live in the Westerville area with my husband. I graduated from Ohio University in Athens with my Bachelor's of Science in Chemistry in 2019. I'm originally from Cambridge, Ohio, so like southeastern Ohio area, and I've been living in the Columbus area ever since I graduated college.
Hi everyone, my name is Nav Betty. I'm a first year medical student at OhioHealth in Dublin. I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. I completed my undergrad studies at Ohio State, where I studied neuroscience and minored in Spanish. After undergrad, I took a year off and lived in downtown Columbus and worked as a research assistant at Nationwide Children's in the Center for Child Health Equity and Outcomes Research, and now I'm here.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody. All right, Izzy, we're going to start with you, and then what we'll do is we'll start with Izzy, and then just go down the line as we did, and then Cameron will start with you for the next question. Okay? So, Izzy, how did you get to where you are today?
That's a very loaded question, but I originally kind of had my peak, or like my interest peak in health kind of in my sophomore year of high school. I took a very heavy AP course load in like the sciences. My father is a PhD background, so a little bit of that came from him as well. I would just say I did a lot of kind of networking in high school just with people in the medical field, not just necessarily doctors, but just in general. Kind of just talk to them what it's like being in the medical field, joined a couple medical-based clubs in high school, ultimately learned about that program I spoke about called the Early Assurance Program,
And then I interviewed for and applied to that as well in my senior year of high school. And so I'd say that was kind of my lead up into medicine.
Just like Izzy, I would say my journey in medicine has been a crazy ride. I did not want to pursue medicine until my little sister, she was a dancer, and she was playing with her friends, and she got injured one day. Before I could go out to eat, so I was mad that I couldn't go out to eat. But when we got to the scenes what was going on, I seen, the paramedics, and then eventually the doctors, the hospitals who were DO physicians, help her out. I knew I wanted to pursue medicine and also help kids like that. When trying to apply to medical schools, it's a very taxing journey, but I will say it's worth it in the end. There can be a lot of frustrations and a lot of no's, but you only need one yes to get in. So just keep believing in yourself and things like that, and that's got me through medical school right now and through the hardships that I face in medical school. And I would say it was a lot of challenges, but a lot of adversity that I had to overcome, but it turned out for the better for me.
That's great. That's great advice.
Yeah, so I agree. It's kind of a big question. I feel like I have a lot of life experiences that have led me to medicine and to where I am today. I don't want to take up too much time with all of those, but I think my interest in medicine kind of peaked when in my childhood, because when I was a year and a half old, I got burned and was life-flighted to a level 1 trauma center. And growing up, I had to get that. So with that initial visit, they had to do what's called an escharotomy, which if you don't know what that is, you can look it up. And that procedure left me with some scar tissue that that wouldn't grow with me as I aged. And so I had to, every 2 years, go in and have that scar tissue surgically released. And it was those experiences that really introduced me to the world of medicine. I got to meet some great nurses. I got to meet an incredible doctor, Dr. Morris, that took really good care of me for my initial procedure, and he did all except for one of the follow-up procedures that I had. And it was really his example that got me on the path. It told me that, taught me the impact that I could have in medicine. And then I like some of the fellow panel members up here, I wasn't initially sold on going into medicine even coming out of high school. But I wanted to do engineering. I thought I wanted to do, and I was also looking at physical therapy because I was interested in physical fitness as well, and thought that'd be a good combination of the two interests that I had. But had some other experiences that eventually led me to become a physician assistant student and pursue the path of being a physician assistant. But these were some of the experiences that really got me started in medicine.
I feel like at a really young age, I kind of realized I had this overwhelming passion just to kind of help people. And then I would say like middle school, high school is when I really saw that within a healthcare team. My grandparents, their health was declining, and I was really kind of involved in their healthcare and everything. I got involved in medical explorers in high school, so it was a kind of like a workshop where you go in the evenings, and it was at our local hospital. So I got to network there, got to shadow a lot of different providers, and also just talking to faculty members when I got to college, kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Also shadowing and volunteering along the way, and just trying to like be a sponge and take up everything that was around me. And then also after college, I went into my career as a chemist at a pharmaceutical company. So that was really good because it was able to kind of show me what I wanted from a career. Because you can always think about what would suit your personality, but it's always good, like, being in a career and trying to figure out what you want from your career. So that was always really good, and that's kind of what led me going back into school.
That's great.
For me, I feel like my path was kind of a slow burn towards medicine. Similarly, I helped my grandparents a lot when I was in my early teen years with managing their healthcare. They don't speak much English, so I would accompany them to doctor's visits and help them plan just their care and their medications and all of that. And I had a real interest in helping them with that and found fulfillment in doing that. So I continued to take like biomedical science courses in high school and also did a lot of shadowing in different healthcare professions as well. So I had a general interest, and then when I went to Ohio State, I started as engineering, biomedical engineering, just to see if there's anything else out there for me, because I wasn't fully sold yet. But then after some more shadowing experiences and getting to be in the hospital a bit more, I realized that a physician, an osteopathic physician, is actually what I wanted to do, and that's how I got here.
So I'm going to shake it up a little bit, and I'm going to say that if you hear something or you want to follow up with a question, just raise your hand and we'll call on you, okay? But Cameron, we're going to start with the next question, and I'm curious what your major interests were in school.
Okay, what part of school talking about? Elementary?
So I would say all the way through school,
Okay.
what were your major interests that you think drove you toward this? And that can be athletics, that can be academics, extracurricular.
Before medicine, I was very big on being an architect. And I really loved drawing, buildings, and blueprints. But then at some point during college, I just didn't like math anymore that much. So I definitely had to switch. And I was like, okay, medicine seems interesting. Let me go into that more. And then I really like biology, and I really like knowing the why and how behind things. Because everything's like a system that connects things like that. So I would definitely say that I was very big into the maths until that sudden change in undergrad.
That's the same question. So what were your major interests in school?
So I kind of mentioned that I wanted to do it. Initially coming out of high school, I thought that engineering was the path for me. I was looking into electrical engineering, so I took my first semester in college, I actually took some engineering courses, and I had previous experiences with medicine, so I took an anatomy course as well. And those two, that first semester helped me. That anatomy course is really pivotal for me in really helping me realize how intriguing and fascinating the human body is. And it really just kind of kickstarted that, yeah, I really do want to go down medicine. And I always loved physical fitness as well. And so I kind of melded those two, interest in medicine as well as physical fitness, and thought, okay, PT is the route for me. And then my first 2 years of college, I actually did a lot of volunteering at some PT clinics. And it wasn't until my junior year of college, undergrad, when I was about to apply to physical therapy school, that I actually realized I was helping helping some of the patients go through some rehab exercises and talking with them. And I realized I was more intrigued by the path that led them to the rehab than I was the actual rehab itself. And so that got me thinking, okay, maybe I need to reconsider what I really want to do. And went back to the drawing board, and I actually just got on my computer that night, I remember, and just started looking up what are other professions in medicine. And that was the first time I actually learned about the PA profession. And it was then that I reached out and, to some PAs that were in the area, went to a hospital, and actually shadowed a PA in neurology and a PA in orthopedics. And it was those experiences that really helped me solidify that, yeah, this is the path that I want to go in. So I kind of went from engineering to physical therapy to PA. So you may not know exactly what you want to do starting out, but I definitely recommend shadowing is a great opportunity and a great way to really get to know a profession.
Thank you. We'll get into that more.
Yeah, I would say two of my biggest interests that kind of have been throughout my life is really like the sciences and also like volunteering. So I remember in high school I got really involved in chemistry. I liked that course. That's kind of what brought me into going chemistry when I went into college. And then while I was in college, two big interests that kind of were surprising me. When you're in college, you have to do different core classes. And I went into a communications class and I really liked just, I didn't really realize that I was gonna like the communications class as much as I did. And that was really something that piqued my interest. And I also saw when I went into my career as a chemist that was something I was liking as well, is more of that calm side of things. So I think that's kind of what showed me that as a chemist, that was something I was kind of missing from being in the lab all the time, was just having to face-to-face communication, being able to talk to people a lot. So that's something that kind of changed throughout the years and pushed me into this direction.
I would say throughout school, especially in high school, I really enjoyed my English classes. I would say even more than my science courses. And that's something that I didn't really continue on with college, but something that an interest that continued from high school to college was all the healthcare adjacent courses. So in high school, I took principles of biomedical sciences, where you got to learn about health professions or different fields related to medicine or topics that you wouldn't hear about in your bio courses or your chemistry courses. And same thing in college when I took some Spanish and healthcare courses as well. So I think just learning about different topics like that are coursework that I enjoyed.
All right, Izzy, you're up.
So I actually had a really big interest in law when I was early high school, late middle school. I'd say along with that, kind of as I continued with my courses in high school, biology and psychology were huge kind of changers for me, kind of like changed the game from law to something with medicine. So yeah, I'd say those were kind of my bigger things. And then along with that, I did a lot of camps kind of throughout the summers in high school that were related to healthcare, and that kind of helped me solidify that, yeah, I think it's more of a healthcare side that I really like.
That's great. All right, Tyson, we're leading us off on this one. All right, students, parents, I think you're gonna wanna take some notes. Yes?
So I'm interested to hear your views on how much of an impact the kids have if they don't have a medical background. Like, say example, I'm not a medical, I'm into IT. My kids want to be a doctor. So what challenges or how do we get motivation for the kids? Because I heard a couple of people said they got motivation from their dad, right? So what is your view?
So Tyson, you wanna start with that one?
Yeah.
What sort of motivation? Yeah.
So both of my parents actually have an educational background, so no one in my family is actually in medicine. I would be the first one going into medicine in my family, so what I would say pivotal for me has just been getting out there and getting experience in medicine. I mentioned that I volunteered for a physical therapist for the first 2 years of my undergrad. I went and shadowed some physician assistants, and that's what really helped me solidify that I wanted to be a physician assistant. I think the same goes with shadowing a physician if you want to be a physician. For me, the most impactful experiences, shortly after undergrad, I went out and I worked in a pediatric hospital in the ICU as a critical care technician, and I also worked as in the emergency department, and it was a level 1 trauma center, and just getting those experiences in medicine. What is it like day to day? What is it, for me personally, that really helped solidify it and motivate me. Wow, I am gonna have an incredible impact when I get through school. And even just seeing the impact that I had as a critical care technician when I was working in the hospital, like that just inspired me and motivated me to keep going. So, let's see if I said it good.
The same thing. None of my parents or no one in my family is really in medicine. So I think the biggest thing was I had an interest for it. So I just got to start asking around because I feel like any family, you can think about someone or even your own providers, you can talk to them if they're looking for, or if your students could shadow them and everything. So the way I found my outlet was there was a woman who was volunteering for the choir and she was helping the choir. So I was talking to her and she was like, oh, I'm a physician. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. So then that just hit it off and that's been, oh my gosh, almost 10 years ago. And so it's just, I feel like it's just all about networking and asking around and asking people. And then also just getting involved or Googling different camps, medical camps that are in the area. And then also I know a lot of schools nowadays are doing different medical clubs. So I think it's mostly just clubs and shadowing and just asking around through people.
Thank you.
Yeah. No? You wanna answer that? Was it good?
People and everybody.
I'm also in the same boat where none of my family is in medicine or healthcare in general. And I also had an interest, but some of my most impactful experiences came from those shadowing experiences. Just seeing the impact a physician can have for the interactions they had, even shaped the kind of future physician I would like to be. So I think it's important to get out and get those experiences because it can give you an idea of if that's even something you want to do.
Izzy?
Like I mentioned, my father is a PhD, a little bit different than a physician, but I would say if I had to give my 2 cents, it would be keeping an open mind, just that there's a lot in healthcare. It doesn't have to be physician, it doesn't have to be PA. And just networking and kind of just observing is the biggest thing. So yeah, just keep an open mind, keep observing, keep talking to people. I'd say that would be my biggest advice.
Just like you heard the panelists up here say, the only person in my family that was into medicine was my mother. She's a nurse currently. But I would say that personally, as you want to get research and you want to, you probably get a job as a scribe, to understand medical terminology. I've had a lot of jobs outside of medicine that played into being a well-rounded physician because I feel as though as a future physician, you have to, show care and empathy and remain, humane as possible when talking to patients, wanting to treat them, things like that. So I've been a server, worked at Panera Bread, been a delivery driver, just all these things I think play into the overall rounded me as a person. And I feel like those things also help with your bedside manners and patient and talking skills, things like that. So I think as while you are, becoming a scribe and doing research, also do things that you enjoy because there is a way that you can interconnect both things.
All right, so parents, students, I'm sure you're going to want to take notes on this one. Sam, we're going to start with you. What courses did you find most helpful to prepare you for where you are today?
I would say a big one is definitely those core science classes, all the, I know for medical school and for physician assistant program, those are the main coursework that they're looking for when you're applying, which are a lot of the courses that you're gonna get if you go into pre-professional courses, or that's your major with college. But I'd say those core science classes, chemistry, biology, genetics really also helped, I would say, and then the big one is anatomy and physiology that I took in college. But yeah, in high school, I would say mostly chemistry helped, biology. I would say the core science stuff.
I think I'd echo similar sentiments, just that the core science classes, if you have a good understanding of that in high school, if you retake them in college, it really helps you to excel and get a deeper understanding, which will eventually prepare you for graduate programs.
Izzy?
I think kind of being from Jerome, I have a little unique perspective, as in I felt like a lot of our like core science classes were pushed to be a lot of APs. And my advice would be to future students that, don't harp as much on, getting every single science class as an AP or an IB. Just taking those classes and truly kind of taking time to understand the fundamentals will really help you. I took I took like AP Bio, but for Chem, I found AP Chem to be very, very difficult. I tried to take it my sophomore year. I wasn't, I think, mature enough to kind of understand that, so I dropped it, took my regular Chem, came back, took IB Chem, and I feel like that really helped me personally. So I'd say kind of being from the Dublin district, don't harp as much on your APs, just focus on your fundamentals. Obviously, those AP classes are going to help you with your study techniques, but just don't feel like you have to do every single AP science course. Just take your science courses in general.
I would say the big three. First one being anatomy. Anatomy, when you get to medical school, is not always, it's a lot of self-teaching, I'll say that. But anatomy never changes, it stays the same. So my advice is to any aspiring physicians in the crowd right now that anatomy is something that you can start right now, just understanding muscles, because that's the basis of a lot of diagnosis and, problems or assessments, things that we have during medical school. The second one would be physio. Besides knowing what something is, you have to know how it works and how it's not working when it's at a dysfunction. Physio is going to help with that a lot. Knowing the mechanics and some of the pathways can lead you through a diagnosis when you're unsure, and I think that's very important to do, just in any field of science. And the last one would be English. English in medical school is very tricky because everything looks like the right answer, but they use trick words. So, when you're doing a diagnosis report, or when we have our CTAC, which is like our standardized patient encounters, we have like this list of dialogue that we have to sift through quickly. So I want to say English will help you pick out the important stuff, the front context, and that will help you thrive and do good in medical school.
I think by now you kind of get the idea of how important the core sciences are. Anatomy, physiology, biology, chemistry, all very important because they all come back up. Another two that I would point out is genetics and medical terminology. I think those classes were really pivotal, especially, so anatomy and physiology were definitely ones that really inspired me, got me excited about medicine, but the grade that I'm most proud of in my undergrad was actually my lowest grade, and that was genetics, and that's because it challenged me. So more important than I think the course is making sure that you're challenging yourself as you go throughout school, and finding those opportunities to challenge yourself. And you don't have to be the smartest person for me. I never considered myself the smartest student. I just considered myself having a really strong work ethic. And I think if you have that was the advice that I was given as I was going through school, is you don't have to be a gifted student. You just have to keep going. You just have to keep learning. You just have to keep at it, and you'll get there. And that's it.
That's great advice. I have a lot of low grades from undergrad that I'm proud of. Not a clinician, so I won't speak on that. So we have a couple minutes left. I just want to open it up to the crowd and see if you guys have any questions for these wonderful panelists for us. Please.
I know you emphasize a lot on...
I'm sorry, can you stand up?
Sorry.
Sure.
I know you emphasize a lot on shadowing, especially for the high school student. How would Dublin advise, how do we go about it?
How do you go about shadowing?
Yeah,
So
let's
where
to tap in.
Sure. Let's get first-hand experience. Izzy, why don't you start with that one?
Sure. I would say I did a lot of just cold turkey emailing physicians in the area. Dublin Methodist is right down the road. There's a lot of amazing physicians there who are more than happy to have you come shadow.
Moreover, there's, I think, a lot of volunteering that also takes place at both Riverside Hospital and Dublin Methodist. If you can get in, I know Dublin Methodist is a little bit more difficult, but Riverside usually has a lot of opening. I also did like kind of a nursing position, like a nurse's aide position during high school and to undergrad. That also really helped me because I was able to just network with physicians whenever they would come into the rooms and talk to the patients that I was watching. So yeah, I would just say there's a lot of physicians in the area. Don't be scared to just kind of send them a quick email. A lot of them are just very kind and very willing to kind of let you and your students get your feedback.
Thank you.
So I'm going to give a shameless plug to OhioHealth right now. So as many of you may know or may not know, OhioHealth is now hiring 16 plus students. So you can be 16 years old and come work for OhioHealth with several positions. We also just redid all of our education benefits. So we've partnered with over 50 different colleges and universities, and OhioHealth now direct pays your tuition up to $5,200 a year if you come to OhioHealth and work in one of our critical needs roles. Those are things like respiratory therapy, all different sorts of things. This is all available on our website as well. These are, so just to kind of go back to that, these are opportunities that exist now if students are interested in starting to work for a healthcare organization and get involved in healthcare. So, and that is time. So does anybody have any other questions? Go ahead.
So what summer programs and like type of things did you do during the summer? And then also is physics necessary to take? Because I'm out of dilemma right now in scheduling and I don't know if I can fit it, so yeah.
Okay, if we're going by rotation, let's start with Cameron. We'll have, if you guys have time, we'll have everybody cycle through this one and then that'll be the end, okay? So Cameron, you go ahead.
I can say that I have not seen that much physics in med school right now. Not at all. I think it's just like a rites of passage class you have to take just to get through with DB, but I've not seen physics that much in school and stuff, so.
My advice is just look into what professions you want to go into and then the schooling the courses that are required, because a lot of institutions will list their required courses. I know physics was required for a lot of the programs that I applied to. So just get clear on the requirements for the schools that you're interested in. And I honestly created a spreadsheet, looked through what are pretty much the core requirements that a lot of the programs have, and just see if physics is in there. And it probably might be a course that you just need to take, but physics is important and it does correlate to the body too. I took a biomechanics course and a lot of physics played into biomechanics too. So there's a lot of correlation in applying the physics to the body when you get into that. The summer camps, I can't really speak to that because all my experience came from getting a CNA certification, also an MD certification, and getting work experience. So if someone else has an experience there.
Yeah, with summer camps, I really never went to any summer camps, like high school speaking. I did do that Medical Explorers where it was like once every month. But for physics, I would say it's important, but I don't know how important getting into an undergrad program, because a lot of undergrad programs, they don't ask for specific courses. Grade point average and all that, and your personal essay. But then with undergrad, I think it just kind of depends on what graduate program you're wanting to do. A lot of them, they ask for like physics 1 and 2 or something like that.
I actually just remembered that I did not take physics in high school. While it would have been helpful, I think you can certainly work your way through physics in college. It certainly wasn't easy, but it's something that's doable. It is required for our graduate program. We have to take physics 1 and 2, but that's also something you can look at down the road. As far as summer camps, I did just like interesting healthcare summer camps in high school. It was like 1 and 2 weeks where you would go in from like 8 to 5-ish. They would show you like the heart, the brain, and like give you different information programs. That was at University of Cincinnati Hospital, so I don't know how applicable that is here, but I'm sure that they have a lot of similar ones. in the Columbus area.
Izzy?
So quick plug on a summer camp, OUHCOM does run one during the summer, so do look into that. Other than that, I do remember I attended a couple just kind of local Dublin, if you kind of just put into a Google search. I'm sure you'll find quite a few that kind of take place in Dublin. As for the physics, I took just regular physics in high school, but I feel like I didn't really get much out of it. It was my 7th period senior year. So really nothing stuck, to be honest. So I think you'll be okay if you're at a point where you feel like your schedule is really squished. Everybody mentioned, it is required for medical school and a lot of graduate programs. But if you're looking at it right now in high school, I would say you can do without it if you need. You'll just have to work a little bit harder in undergrad, and that's it.
Great answer, and I'm gonna piggyback on that and endorse what she said about the camp at OhioHealth, because that is an OhioHealth camp as well. So we have a lot of our associates that come and speak and give you hands-on experience as well. It's a great opportunity. I would like to thank our wonderful panelists tonight, and thank you all for coming here.